Mga ka-faith seeking and understanding, mapagpalang araw sa ating lahat, sa mga taga-subaybay ng ating faith seeking and understanding. Ito pong muli si Brother Melchor Manalili na magbibigay po ng dagdag kaalaman para po sa ating pananampalataya, lalo-lalo na po patungkol sa ating banal na kasulatan. Samahan po ninyo ako at panoorin itong ating video na ito para po sa ikadadagdag at ikalalago na ating mga kaalaman tungkol sa mga salita ng Diyos. Ang ating pong tatalakayin ay kung paano na isulat, anong taon at kung sino po ang mga sumulat ng mga banal na kasulatan. Tungayan po ninyo ang ating gagawing paglalahad upang malubos natin maunawaan kung bakit ito isinulat, kung paano ito naisulat at kung paano po nabuo ang mga aklat ng banal na kasulatan o yung tinatawag nating Biblia. Kaya samahan po ninyo ako mga kapanali, mga ka-faith, mga ka-seeking and ka-understanding para po sa ating paghahayag patungkol sa buong aklat ng Biblia. Mula po sa Genesis hanggang sa Revelation, tatalakayin po natin dito gamit ang Tagalog-English nating mga pananalita na gagamitin upang lubos natin maintindihan kung paano ito naisulat, anong taon, sino ang nagsulat at kung bakit ito isinulat. So maraming salamat. Samahan po ninyo ako sa araw na ito. Maraming salamat po. Tunghayan po natin ang ating paglalahad. Amen. Okay, so simulan po natin mga kaindi dito sa tinatawag nating Genesis. No? Pag sinabi pong Genesis, ibig sabihin nun ang simula o yung creation. Ang sabi dito, a word meaning origin o yung simula o yung pinagmulan, Genesis present a sweeping history of the period from God's creation of the earth to the beginning of the Israelites. No, dito nag-umpisa yung kasaysayan ng paglikha ng Diyos at ganoon din po ang kasaysayan ng mga Israelita na mga bayang o bayang hinirang ng ating Diyos, no, sa Old Testament. 400 years long ago, sojourn in Egypt, it is the first of the so-called 5 books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numerous, and Deuteronomy. No? Also known as the Pentateuch. Pag sinabi pong Pentateuch, hindi po yun Hebrew language. Yun po yung tinatawag nating Greek term na ibig sabihin ay 5 or fente, no? Fente means 5. Okay. A Greek term for a work divided in the 5 scroll. Jews refer to these 5 books of the Hebrew Bible as the Torah or Law, no? Tinatawag nila itong Torah or Law. The Pentateuch took shape over the course of centuries. First in stories, songs, sayings passed from generation to generation in order to preserve the experience and tradition of the Israelites in that time. These were written down perhaps as early as King David reigned during the time na 1005 to 965 BC, but compiled in the form known today only during the Babylonian exile 586 to 538 BC. Dito natin makikita kung paano na isulat yung Genesis sa pamamagitan ng handed down, no, yung tinatawag nating oral tradisyon, no, yung nagpasalin-saling mga kwento na mga kanilang mga ninuno na naipinapasa sa kanila upang malaman nila kung ano ang naganap during the time ng simula na likhain ng Diyos ang mundo, no? Ang sabi, during the reign, no, during the era, perhaps as early as King David's reign, during the 1005 to 965 BC, but compile, pero ito po ay na-compile during the time ng for known today only during the Babylonian exile 586 to 536 BC. Ayan. The first 4 books stem from 2 separate literature sources, apparently merged by a third and edited by the fourth. Deuteronomy is generally attributed to another writer or group of writers, no? Sabi, group of writers or a writer or a group of writers who are also responsible for the books of Joshua through to those kings with the exception of Ruth. Genesis contains 4 distinct sections: primordial history, chapters 1 verse to 11, no? The 3 cycle dating with the Israelites ancestors Abraham, chapter 12 verse 1 to 25, then at 12:1 to 25 and 18. Jacob chapter 25 verse 19, then 36 chapter 36 verse 43, no? Dito nag-umpisa yung journey ng mga Israelita. And Joseph and his brothers 37 to 50, significantly the book ends with the word Egypt, no? Nagtatapos daw sa salitang Ehipto. Bakit? Ito ang sabi, which put God's chosen people in the land where they will become enslaved, no? Na-enslave po yung mga Israelita during that time, no? Doon sa Ehipto, no? Kaya doon sa Ehipto po, hindi pa po nila na isusulat yung Genesis, no? Kumbaga enslaved pa sila how many years, no, nung bago sila pinalaya doon. Gaya nga sinabi natin na i-compile ang Genesis, yung itong mga books na ito during the time of Babylonian exile, no, nung sila ay naging captive na ng Babylonian that time, no? Doon po nila nagpasulang sumulat. Okay, no? Pero nandoon pa sila sa ito, wala po silang mga isinulat na ganon. Tuloy natin. Which equal significance the final word is Deuteronomy. And thus the final word also of the Pentateuch is Israel. For the remainder of the Old Testament is the story of the nation long and troubled resident in the promised land. But the Old Testament is more than the history of a relatively small and politically vulnerable kingdom of the crossroads of three continents, Europe, Africa, and Asia, by relating creation of the world to the ancestors of Israel, through whom all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Genesis chapter 12 verse 3, doon po yung mababasa. Genesis is immediately and emphatically established that the Bible is to be the record of God's infinite power, wisdom, and compassion. It is no less than the compelling account of the Creator's ongoing relationship with the capstone of His creation, humankind. Amen, no? So, dito naman po tayo sa Exodus, no? Ano po ang sinasabi ng kasaysayan ng Exodus? Exodus continues the dramatic saga of Jacob's family, no? Tungkol naman po ito sa pamilya ni Jacob, no? Began in Genesis. At the close of the book, Jacob has settled his clan in Egypt, where his long-lost son Joseph has risen to a position of power, no? Nagkaroon ng naging gobernador itong si Joseph. As Exodus begins some 400 years, no, later, no, doon daw nag-umpisa yung Exodus begins some 400 years later. Jacob's family of 70 children and grandchildren has multiplied to 1,000, and these Israelites or Hebrews are no longer guests. They are slaves forced to build entire cities to the glory of the Egyptian king. Naging slave sila ng mga Egypto, no, Egyptians. This turn of events profiles the memorable episode from which the book takes its name. Exodus, from the Greek word for exit. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng Exodus. Exit, yung pag-alis, no? Through a spectacular show of invincible power, God liberates the Israelites, then leads them out of Egypt. Later, at Mount Sinai, God forged the people into a nation united by a covenant that He establishes with their leader, Moses. The covenant is most succinctly expressed in the Ten Commandments, but it's fully developed into a code of laws, no? Yung binigyan sila ng yung tinatawag nating Decalogue. Kaya nga Decalogue, ibig sabihin 10, no? 10 kautosan. Deca, ibig sabihin 10, kaya tinawag itong Decalogue, no? Kaya ito ay ginawang 10 Commandments. Okay. 10 Commandments, but it's fully developed into a code of laws, covering everything from worship to every conduct. This comprehensive agreement requires the Israelites to express their devotion to God by obeying His law in return. God vows to protect and bless them and lead them home to the promised land of Canaan. These two events is delivered and covenant making pivotal in Jewish history, form the two major sections of Exodus chapter 1 verse 18, tell of Israel liberation, no? Tinutukoy yung pagiging liberation nila, paglalaya, no? Chapter 19 to 40 describe the Israelites' sojourn at Sinai, where they received God's law. The story of Exodus are part of the 5-volume account of Israel emerged as a nation, which begins in Genesis and continues through the Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. No, gaya na sinabi ko, na-compile po ito during the time ng tinatawag nating Babylonian captivity. Okay, sa Leviticus na po tayo. The Israelite camped near Mount Sinai nearly a year. During that time, God delivered through Moses as a system of laws for the people to live by. Because those laws were to be administered by priests, no? Ito yung Leviticus, no? Kaya nga Levi, no? Levites, ibig sabihin to about in a priestly service yung ginagawa ng mga Leviticus, no? Sabi, yung mga Levita, no? Leviticus tuloy, Levita, no? Tungkol po ito sa mga priests. All from the tribe of Levi, no? Si Levi po, no? Yung mga angkan ni Levi, yun ang ginawang pare ng Diyos during that time sa Old Testament. From the tribe of Levi, the book containing them has become known as Leviticus, meaning related to Levites. No? Ibig sabihin, meron silang kaugnayan sa mga Levita. Yung mga Levita po, yun po yung mga pare. No? In ancient times, this part of the 5 books traditionally attribute to Moses. No? Inattribute kay Moses, pero hindi po sinabi mismo, si Moses mismo ang sumulat ng mga libro na yan. Ito ay ina-attribute, traditionally attributed to Moses, was simply called the priest manual. Ayan, nakita niyo po, no? Inuulit ko po, ang sabi po ng ating sources, hindi po talaga ang kamay ni Moses ang sumulat, kundi in-attribute po ito para kay Moses. Okay. Dahil during that time ng Babylonian captivity, matagal na pong namatay si Moses bago nila inaisulat yung Genesis at nagpasimula silang sumulat. Amen. Matagal nang patay po si Moses. Kaya inattribute po itong aklat na itong mga sinulat nila ay para kay Moses. Okay, tuloy natin. While Exodus gives the Israelite direction for building the tent worship center known as the tabernacle, o yung tinatawag nilang sukot, no? Yung tent, ayun ang tinatawag nila. Leviticus gives them laws for worshiping there, no? Include a regulation about when how to offer sacrifice, the ordination ceremony for priests, laws about the kinds of animals that can and cannot be eaten. Doon ini-identify yung mga pagkain na kakainin at hindi kakainin at yung mga paghahandog na gagawin ng mga pare, no? Tinutukoy doon sa Leviticus, no? Rituals for the annual day of atonement and laws for the everyday living to preserve the moral and ritual purity of the people so they can live in the presence of God. Ayan. Behind all of these laws and rituals is the people conviction that they worship a holy God who has pitched his sacred tent among them, because God is with them in the tabernacle at the center of the camp, and because his covenant with them makes Israel an earthly representation of God's kingdom. The Israelite must live as people who are holy, set apart for God's purpose. Sanctify yourself therefore and be holy. God tells the Israelite, for I am holy, because sabi nga, magpakabanal kayo sapagkat ako ay banal. Yan po ay nandoon na ginamit po ni Apostol San Pedro sa chapter 1 verse 16 ito 18, no? Nandoon po, no? Unang Pedro 1:16 hanggang 18 na magpakabanal kayo sapagkat ako ay banal. Yun po ay kinote ni San Pedro doon sa Leviticus chapter 11 verse 44, no? Doon pa lang may kaugnayan na ang Old and New Testament dahil nag-quote po doon yung sulat po ni Apostol San Pedro. Sabi na doon, magpakabanal kayo sapagkat ako'y banal. Doon po nagmula yon. By carefully observing the rules in Leviticus, the people maintain their holiness in the generation to come, and they find forgiveness when they fail. Nakita nyo na, no? Doon pagkakasunod-sunod, no? Ito po ay ating tatapusin hanggang doon sa Revelation. Dito naman po tayo sa numerous or numbers, no? Iniisa-isa po natin kung ano po yung nilalaman at kung paano po ito naisulat, no? Dito po natin malalaman ang mga kasaysayan kung bakit yun naisulat, no? For 40 years, dito na po tayo sa numbers. For 40 years, the Israelites linger in the desert, mostly near the oasis of Kadesh. Kadesh Barnea, no? Kadesh Barnea, no? On the southern border of Canaan. The book of Numbers tells what happened during those years, from the time Moses and his generation leave Mount Sinai until the next generation arrives on the eastern banks of the Jordan River, ready to claim the promised land. No, handa na nilang tanggapin yung lupang pinangako sa kanila ng Panginoon. Pero hindi po nakarating doon si Moises dahil natanaw niya pero hindi po siya nakarating doon, no? The English title of the book comes from the numbering of or census of each generation. Kaya numbers, no? Yung mga census, yung mga nagsusulat sila kung ilan na yung tao sa lugar nila, ilan na sila, yung mga gano'n, no? Sabi niya, the book comes from the numbering or census of each generation. Yung mga generation nila, yung mga pinanggalingan mga generation na sinusulat nila doon. Kaya ito tinawag na numerous or numbers, no? Kaya tinawag yon. Okay. God first orders the counting of all able-bodied men as the Israelites prepare to break camp of Mount Sinai. A generation later, when Israel is on the verge of invading the land of Canaan, God orders a second census. This Hebrew title of the book's power is Bemidbar. Ayan, Bemidbar. Ibig sabihin nun, in the wilderness. No? Sa wikang Hebrew, tinawag na Bemidbar. Ibig sabihin, in the wilderness. Sa ilang. Yun ang ibig sabihin. Since this is where the dramatic stories unfold, Numbers can be divided into three main sections. The first take place at Mount Sinai, where God organized the Israelites for their march into Canaan. Numbers chapter 1 verse 1 to hanggang 10, hanggang 10 to 10. The second takes place in the desert south of Canaan after God condemns the people to roam for 40 years. Numbers chapter 10, 12, then 21, then 35. God meets out this stern sentence after Israel refused to trust him enough to proceed with the invasion. The Israelites had becoming terrified when their spies returned from Canaan. Yung mga espiya na nag-ano sa Canaan, nag-espiya, no? Doon po natin aanuhin yan, no? Sino ba yung mga naging espiya, no? Kagaya nila Caleb, nila Gideon, mga nag-espiya po yan, no? And reported the land of the full of walled cities and huge people. The third part takes place on the plains of Moab, as a younger and braver generation prepares to follow Joshua across the Jordan River. Yan po ay mababasa natin sa Numbers chapter 22 verse 1, then chapter 36 to 13. Numbers is the fourth book in the 5-volume history of Israel birth as a nation. These 5 books, Genesis through Deuteronomy, are traditionally attributed to Moses. Nakita nyo, no? Hindi sinabing si Moses ang nagsulat, kung hindi inattribute kay Moses nung nagsulat. Okay. Though close in the text suggests that other writers and editors also contribute. For example, it would have been out of character for Moses to pen words such as this. Moses was very humble. More so, ito yung example niya kung paano sinabing hindi yun si Moses sumulat. Sabi niya, it would have been out of character for Moses to pen words such as this, no? Sabi dito, sinasabi niya na hindi talaga si Moses na sumulat, nagbigay siya ng example sa nilalaman ng talata doon sa Numbers chapter 12 verse 3. Kasi ang sabi dito ng sumulat, Moses was very humble, no? Sinulat niya, Moses was very humble. Ibig sabihin, may nagsasalaysay, no? Very humble, more so than anyone else of the face of the earth. Yet some of the material is quiet, ancient, and possibly dates from the days of Moses. Ayan. Nakita nyo, no? Hindi po tuluyang tinukoy na ang sulat kamay ni Moises yung 5 books na yon, no? Kung hindi inattribute ng mga authors kay Moses ang 5 books na yon. Amen? Okay, dito naman po tayo sa Deuteronomy, no? Yung panglimang libro na aklat na inattribute kay Moses. The Israelites camps near the eastern banks of the Jordan River and await orders to ford the stream and begin the conquest of Canaan. Moses does not join them, no? Bakit hindi? Kasi namatay na si Moses that time, no? Hindi na siya nakaabot doon, no? Okay. He will die outside the promised land. Namatay siya, hindi siya nakaabot doon sa promised land. Pero natanaw niya na ito sa kalayuan, no? But before he does, he gathers the people and speak to them for one last time. His words preserved in the book of Deuteronomy. Yung kanyang mga sinabi ni Moses nakapreserve sa Deuteronomy. Remind the people of the great miracles God has done for them. Moses also reviews many of the laws God has given and he pleads with the Israelites to obey or suffer the tragic consequence of losing the land. Because Moses repeats many of the laws, including the Ten Commandments, this book became known as Deuterocanonical. Deutero, ibig sabihin second, no? Deot, kaya nga meron tayong tinatawag na Deuterocanonical. Ibig sabihin second canon, ibig sabihin ng Deuterocanonical. Ito, Deuteronomy from the Greek means repeated law, no? Pinulit-ulit, no? Pangalawang law, no? Deuteronomy, repeated law, kaya nga Deutero means second, no? Okay. Or the second law. In the Hebrew Bible, however, it is called Devarim. Ayan, no? Sa Hebrew Bible, tinatawag nitong Devarim, no? Devar sa singular, sa plural, tinatawag itong Devarim. Okay. Words abbreviated from the opening phrase of the book. These are the words that Moses spoke. Ayan, yun ang ibig sabihin, no? These are the words that Moses spoke. Itong mga salitang ito na sinasabi ni Moses. So mismo ang mga author na ang nagsasabi na itong mga salita na to ay sinabi ni Moses. So inattribute ng mga author itong kanyang itong 5 aklat na isinulat nila para kay Moses. Pero hindi po tahasang tinukoy na si Moses ang sumulat ng 5 books of Moses. Inattribute lamang po ito sa kanya. Okay. Deuteronomy, last of the 5 books, traditionally attributed to Moses. Ayan, inulit ng author, no? Attributed to Moses, is written in the distinctive and lofty style of an authoritative yet warm speech, much like the instruction of contemporary Egyptian rulers to their successor. In this last word, Moses urged the Israelites to worship one God, live in one land as one special chosen people, and worship at one sanctuary rather than follow the Canaanite custom of worshiping the hilltop altars throughout their homeland. Ayan, nakita nyo, napakaganda, no? No, ang gusto ni Moses, sumamba sa iisang Diyos, no? Na hindi na yung pumupunta doon sa kung saan saang mga bundok, mga lugar, gaya ng nakita nila doon sa Ehipto nung pinangga nila na mayroong mga nag-o-offer sa mga iba't ibang mga tinatawag na idols. Pero ayaw ni Moses ng ganon. Dahil nung nakausap ni Moses sa Mount Sinai ng Diyos, sinabi, ako lamang si Yahweh ang sasambahin, no? Okay, tuloy natin. No, hindi nila sinunod yung mga nakita ng mga nila sa Canaanites, na mga Canaanites. Kasi yung mga Canaanites nagsisimba, yung customary nila, nagsisimba sa mga taas ng bundok na merong mga altar, no? Doon yun ang hindi nila tinularan, okay? Hindi nila tinularan yung mga gano'n na aakyat sa bundok, magtatayo ng hindi nila muna yun ang ginawa nila doon sila sa Kubol, yung tinatawag nating tabernacle, no? Nagpagawa sila ng tabernacle, doon nila sinasamba si Yahweh. Hindi nila ginaya yung customary ng mga Canaanites. Tuloy natin, no? So doon natin makikita na talagang napakaganda ng kasaysayan ng 5 books of Moses na ito, no? Okay. The writing style is quite different from that of the other 4 books of Moses. This and the message that emphasize the horrors that will afflict Israel if the people disobey God, has led scholars to conclude that the book was compiled and edited by historians interested in tracing the emergence and fall of Israel. Nakita nyo, no? Anong sabi ng mga scholar? Anong sabi? Has led scholars to conclude that the book was compiled and edited by the historian interested in tracing the emergence of fall of Israel. Their work is so called Deuteronomic history. Ayan, kaya ito Deuteronomic history, no? Yung mga magagaling na mga rabbi o mga scribe, no? Yung nag-edit nito during that time. Sabi nga, mga scholar yun, mga rabbi na scholar, no? Na tinawag nila itong Deuteronomic history. The books of Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, and 1st and 2nd Kings, though some of Deuteronomy may come from Moses, as the text frequently claims, much comes from the other sources. Another writer, for example, added the final paragraph about the death of Moses. Also, the text repeats the phrase to this day, referring to the time after Moses. Ayan, nakita nyo, no? Nakita ng mga talagang mga dalubhasa scholar na paano nga nilang masusulat ni Moses yun, patay na roon. Kung titingnan nyo yung final ng Deuteronomy, sabi na, nung namatay si Moses, 4 araw siyang pinagluksa ng mga Israel at inilibing siya doon sa bundok, no? Sipin mo, pati yung kamatayan yan, maisusulat mo ba na taong namatay ka na, tas naisusulat mo ba kung paano ka pinagluksa at namatay? Kaya nakita natin na, sabi nga, mga author ang sumulat na ito na inattribute kay Moses, no? Dapat po alam natin yung tinatawag nating the five authorship in the Bible. Pag nalaman natin yan, malalaman natin kung paano na isulat ang mga banal na kasulatan, no? Okay. Deuteronomy has enjoy special reverence among both Jews and Christians through the centuries because the book is thorough summary of the covenant relation between God and Israel. Rabbis call the book 5/5 of the law, no? 5/5 of the law. The New Testament quotes the book frequently, most notably when Jesus identifies the greatest commandment, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul, with all your mind, no? Yan po ay nandoon sa Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 5 at kinote po yan ni Hesus Kristo na nakasulat sa Mateo chapter 22 verse 37. So dito natin makikita na itong mga 5 books of Moses ay tuwirang sinasabi ng mga scholar na ating nabasa na hindi talaga ito sinulat ng kamay ni Moses. Kumbaga ito po yung tinatawag natin handed down or passed on, yung tinatawag nating tradition, no? Yung tradition na pananalita na mayroong sumusulat para hindi nila makalimutan yung kasaysayan. At ayon nga sa ating binasa na isulat ito during the time ng Babylonian exile, no? Wala na po at matagal nang namatay si Moises nung naisulat ang 5 books na yon during the time ng Babylonian exile noong 500, no? 568 ba yon yung ating binasa AD, no? Ay BC, no? 568 BC, no, during the time of Babylonian captivity, of Babylonian exile. Matagal na siyang namatay si Moises. Kaya doon natin makikita na sasabihin ng ating mga kaibay sa pananampalataya na si Moses daw kamay ang sumulat nun. Hindi po ganon, no? Unang-una, hindi po nakita ni Moises yung creation, no? Nauna po yung creation bago si Moises. Kung sasabihin mong si Moises po ang sumulat ng Genesis, ibig sabihin nauna pa si Moses dahil nasaksihan niya yung papaano nilikha ng Diyos yung mundo o yung sansinukob o sansilibutan. Di po ba? So, hindi po ganon ang dapat nating pangunawa. Dapat mag-aral po tayo itong tinatawag na 5 great authorship in the Bible. At itong Genesis hanggang Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numeros at Deuteronomy, ito po ay mayroong mga 4 na source. Yung tinatawag nating Elohi source o yung tinatawag din nating Yahweh source at yung priestly source, yun po yung Leviticus, no? Yung priestly source, and then Deuteronomy, no? Yan po yung mga sources ng 5 book of Moses na inattribute po sa kanya, no? Hanggang sa susunod, tungayan nyo po ang susunod nating mga libro na ating naman pong ituturo kung sino naman at paano naman nagsimula yung Josue, no? Continue po natin ito at hindi po natin ito puputol-putulin dahil napakahabo na po ito na ating ibibigay na Faith, Seeking, and Understanding. Dito po muna tayo magtatapos sa 5 books of Moses. Then follow na po yung susunod na Joshua, no? Yung susunod na Joshua, sa muli ay tatalakayin naman po natin yung Joshua kung paano nasulat at sino po ang nagsulat nito ayon sa mga ating babasahin na mga magagaling na mga scholar ng Biblia. Maraming salamat po at muli hinihiling po namin na tayo po ay mag-like, subscribe, and share po ng ating. Ito po si Brother Melchor, ito po ang aming ikalawang YouTube channel na magbibigay dagdag kaalaman para po sa ating pananampalataya, sa ating pananiniwalaan, lalo-lalo na sa ikatututo at ikaalam natin upang hindi po tayo mailigaw ng sinuman. Hanggang sa muli, magkita-kita po ulit tayo sa pagpapatuloy ng papaano na isulat ang banal na kasulatan. Maraming salamat po. God bless us all. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Amen.